On this 10th day of U.S.-led airstrikes in Afghanistan, the tactics of the campaign were clearly changing. CBS News national security correspondent David Martin reports that with control of the air, U.S. forces can now direct fearsome firepower at what they believe to be Taliban and terrorist targets.
A new weapon has been thrown into the battle against the Taliban and Osama bin Laden. The AC-130 gunship, capable of pumping out thousands of rounds a minute, was used for the first time last night against a Taliban headquarters and barracks after U.S. jets had first dropped laser-guided bombs on nearby surface-to-air missile sites that could have shot down the slow-moving prop plane. Not counting the thousands of rounds fired by the gunships, the U.S. has now dropped well over 2,000 bombs and missiles on targets inside Afghanistan.
The combat power of the Taliban has been eviscerated.
Long-range bombers are still flying some of the missions, but carrier aircraft are flying more and more of the strikes, orbiting over Afghanistan looking for targets of opportunity.
But we are now trying to identify those areas where we feel that we can go in and just clean up all the military targets that are available for us.
The U.S. is now attacking the front lines in northern Afghanistan, where the Taliban has been fighting a back-and-forth war with a rebel army funded and aided by the CIA. One video released by the Pentagon shows American planes attacking a tank at a key crossroads held by the Taliban. U.S. officials believe the rebel forces could take the crossroads in the next few days.
Its loss to the Taliban would be a significant setback.
Some of the attacks have been around the capital of Kabul, but one bomb apparently missed its target and hit a Red Cross warehouse.
This second week of bombing seems more intense than the first. More than 100 aircraft have flown strikes in each of the past 2 days, and those C-130 gunships are scheduled to fly again tonight. Dan?
At the Pentagon, live David Martin. One of the confusing things about the war so far is this. While U.S. air attacks have pulverized many Taliban installations, neither bombs nor missiles appear to have hit major Taliban troop concentrations along the key front north of Kabul. There, with anti-Taliban forces of the so-called United Front, CBS's Jim Axelrod is hunkered down in sight of the Taliban lines.
It's called the Shumali Front, and these days it is the safest place to be a Taliban soldier in all of Afghanistan. While the United Front is targeting these Taliban positions with its guns, the U.S. Air Force is not. Sitting in his mud fort along the Shumali in northern Afghanistan, this United Front commander has been noticing a disturbing development. Now, says Commander Wahid, they have twice as many troops as before. United Front commanders said the Taliban are flooding into this area where they know they won't be targeted by the U.S. These mujahideen were defending against 5,000 Taliban soldiers a week ago. Now, it's 10,000. The new arrivals are Pakistanis and Arabs loyal to Osama bin Laden. The Taliban has lots of foreign troops, he says. They couldn't buy enough Afghans to use as troops. The U.S. can continue its bombing, he says. They can push Pakistanis and Arabs from our country. The U.S. could do that, but here on the Shumani Plain, the disappointing truth for the United Front is it hasn't. Jim Axelrod, CBS News on the Shumani Front in northern Afghanistan.